Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about MPC 2.11, which I have loaded on the MPC Live 2. First off, thank you very much, Akai, for hooking up a early access to the beta. Really appreciate the support on the channel. And second, we are just going to go through some things that I like about it. And I also have the Syntakt off to my side, which we'll get to that later. So first up, one really cool feature. We go to plugins. We now have a sounds thing right there. Oops, I just muted it. A little sounds icon. You press the sounds icon and you have this new page for surfing presets essentially on the MPC. This is really great. So I just clicked on hype and then let's go to the preview category, club pluck. Super pluck. Warm piano stack. Let's say I like the warm piano stack. I can hit edit instrument and then I have direct access to all the things that are making it happen, like the cutoff maybe. Maybe the delay. Really soak it up with the reverb. Really cool. I think that is an awesome addition to this platform because it is something that's kind of been missing. In the past, you had to go to like the menu, maybe like browser, something like that, and then go instruments. Oops, let's turn off audition. Thank you very much. It could be instruments or samples or, various places like that, the expansion packs. And this menu has never really been like a inspiration tool. It's more of a clinical, here's exactly where these files are, and some shortcut type of stuff to get to them. So the addition of a preset browser, the preset browser type of thing, I think that's great. Now, if you click out and go to drums, factory expansion, let's go Vault 2.0. So you have access to your drums. Great, right? There's a caveat. When I click on one of these, let's say drum pimp chap, it's now loading the kit because obviously it has to pull the samples off the drive and bring it into the system. So I got my kit, right? Let's say I want to try something else, like let's say chill 3. It's loading, I'm like, okay, it's gotta load. Got a nice kit there. Let's say I want to try, I don't know, Rise, EDM kit. Cool. Now let's say I want to go back to that first kit, the drum pimp chop. If I click this, it says, program exists, caution, replace. I'm like, I guess I'll replace it, sure. Replace samples, okay. So what's going on is this interface is a bit of like a skin on top of what's already happening underneath the hood. So it's not as, like it's really cool. Love that it's integrated into this now, but the integration is kind of shortcutting things. So every sample kit that I click on is going to load it into memory. So if I go to main here, I'm still on track 1 and I look at my drum group. So I got the acoustic kit right here. Then I have EDM Rise kit right here. And then chilled trap. And then, that's why I loaded. So it's not as intuitive as say like a VST and software would be. VST would be like, oh, you're auditioning this, check it out. And then it would throw away the stuff that you're not going to use. In this particular instance, when I'm going through the sound preset browser type of stuff, it's literally loading everything into memory. So just something to keep in mind, and that could obviously change in the future. They might adjust the way that process works. So it is more load it into memory, test it out, and then confirm if you want to keep it. They might change that process in the future. I don't know. I'm just speculating right now. But that was a gotcha that I did notice in this setup. But that being said, go to plugins, sounds, like really cool to have the plugins have all their stuff right here. You go bass, gritty bass. Let's go back to the hype synth. I really do like the hype synth. Let's go super pluck again. So another cool feature is you can actually do favorites now. So if you click on the bottom left corner, you got this and you click and hold. And now I have the super pluck right there. One thing that I haven't tried is putting in a sampled kit there. So let's find out. Drum kit. Let's go back to menu sounds. And let's go like that. No plugin selected, cannot save the feature. What if I go back to sounds, drum programs, factory, vault. I have this selected. Program already exists. I guess we'll replace it. I'm not sure if this is screwing it up or not. Now let's go right here. No plugin selected, cannot save favorite. So I don't know everything about everything on this platform and what's been updated, but it appears as though that the saving a preset is plugin specific. In fact, let's go plugin out of here. Let's go drum synth. Let's go multi trip and trap. Sure. Now let's go over here to favorites, click and hold. Trip and trap works. Yeah, it does appear to be plugin specific for the favorites. So you do have to focus your favorites around the plugins that are in the box specifically. So that could be a bit of a caveat for some people. Actually, let's see if it works for the key group. By the way, another feature is you can slide this dock back and forth, and you can also customize what's in here. So that is really cool. Let's go back over to this stuff. Key group, factory expansions. Sure. Fat bass, bass fat. So again, loading up the samples. So we got this. Go to favorites. Favorite right here. No plugin selected. Cannot save favorite. Okay. Bit of a bummer that you can't save your sampled instruments as your favorites. I feel like a lot of people would particularly save, you know, some sort of synth that's been sampled or something like that into a favorite set right here. So I guess the way around that is you'd have to set up a new location, which if you go to key programs, you can do click and hold on one of these boxes, choose location, and then it brings you to the browser to choose an actual folder to start picking that stuff up. So, you know, there's a bit of a workaround for it. So back to favorites. Let's go back to the super pluck. Trip and drop. Maximum number of instances. Oh, interesting. It just tried to load it again. So let's see, plugin 2, plugin 1. Let's go back to plugin 1 here. Sounds and click on super pluck again. Did it do 3? No, it changed plugin 1 to that. Interesting. I'm not sure what condition it knows and understands to make a new plugin versus overwrite the current plugin. So that's I'm a little unaware of that process right now. Maybe it's obvious and I just missed it, but it seems like you could accidentally overwrite the main plugin that you had or something that you didn't want to mess with and, you know, grab something by accident in there. So something to consider. But now let's see if we go to load the trip and trap, loads it no problem because it's not in the memory bank anymore. Sounds, favorites, you know, presets and all that stuff. A really cool first kind of dive into having a more user-friendly interface for that stuff. They also have set lists on here, so you can actually choose a project like so and make a set list. I actually haven't touched this feature at all yet. As you can see, there's nothing on there, so I'm not sure too much about that. So another feature is the key range, and this is really cool. So with the key range, you can actually set it up so each track, you know, or each track in the MPC can have its own key range that you would play to. In fact, let's set it up so we can control the first, or let's say a couple tracks off of the Syntakt right here. Let's do that. So let's go, let's start with track 5. Let's go MIDI. Let's grab the Syntakt. Let's change this to some sort of synth. Let's get that. Let's change this as well to something. Let's get that. Then. Sure, get that. Bow tie, sure. So the way this is currently set up is each one of these tracks correspond to the associated MIDI number, which is the same. So tracks 1 through 12 will be a MIDI number. So if I go track, say 11, see it's popping up right there. So track 5 will be track 1, track 6, track 2, track 7, track 3, track 8, track 4. Okay, let's go back to sounds, key ranges. Now let's mess with this. Okay, so I have this distribution right here. And as you can see, it's not being triggered at the moment. So I think what I have to do is arm these. Can I shift arm? Yes, I can. So if I hold shift and arm. Let's go back to track 1. And let's change this to our hype synth, the super plug. Okay, so shift. Do that. Let's expand these. Oops. Now, obviously, if I just wanted to play them all at the same time, I could have just armed them all and not done key ranges, but this kind of gives you an idea of how you could set up, you know, if I had an 88 key and wanted to have particular sounds being triggered, I think you get the idea right there. You know, one thing that I don't know is if you can set the octave, like if you want to play a high pitch down here. That I'm not sure. I haven't dug deeper than that at the moment, so yeah. Cool, so moving on. There is some other exciting stuff that they've added that if you've been an MPC user for a long time, you've probably come across this or requested this at some point, and they finally have put it in there, which is dope. And that has to do with probabilities. So Elektron gear, big time probability type of stuff. Like you can have it do where some note will trigger like 25% of the time or something like that. And you can create some interesting generative type of stuff out of it. Well, that is now, for the most part, possible with the MPC. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that, whoops, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of the Elektron sequencer type of stuff, but it does have the core mechanic of probability now baked into the sequencer. So let's actually check that out. My timing correction is on at the moment. We're just gonna make a 2-bar loop here. Okay. Little Final Fantasy thing going on. Now what we're gonna do, let's squeeze these down, or so you can see this. Now we're gonna click on this little arrow right here to bring up the velocity. Click on the velocity. And now you have probability and ratchet. We'll get to ratchet in a bit. So probability shows everything has 100% probability of being triggered. Let's close this real quick. I just selected all the notes now. Open this back up, and I'm going to drop this down to like 50%. So every note now has a 50% chance of being triggered when the playhead goes across it. So what I played now is kind of like gaining its new life. Let's actually drop it down further. Let's go like say 25%. Like I want the first one always to trigger. And then maybe these two always trigger as well, or have a high probability of triggering. Cool, so I'm digging this. Let's actually copy this sound. All right, so I have the same sound now. Maybe I'll adjust them a little bit. It's a little bit different, right? Let's go to track 5. Go an octave lower. We're gonna do the same thing. Let's record. I didn't mean to miss that beginning note, but sounds cool. So, same type of thing. Let's start introducing some probability here. Let's select all these. And then go to probability. Drop it down, I don't know, 50. I think same type of thing. I want a few that are like pretty much always playing. Like maybe these two. It kind of gives some stakes in the ground that always get triggered, so you kind of know where you're at in the rhythm. So let's use track 3 now on here. Oh shoot, I have to adjust the key range thing again. I totally forgot about that. I'm going to double this sequence. Double length. And let's record this. Okay, we're gonna do a little something different now. Let's record something here. Okay, let's solo this. Okay, so now we're gonna adjust the length. So 4 beats is a whole measure. 5 beats would be a measure and a quarter note. So we could do, let's say 7 beats. So that'll be measure plus 3 quarter notes on there. And now we have something that is going to start in sync and then change over time as the playhead keeps going. But in order to change this up a bit more, we're going to add some probability or some ratcheting and probability type of stuff. In fact, let's go like this. Maybe we'll do this one. Right, I forget you have to do the pencil on this. Let's see how this sounds. Let's go back to this. Let's grab these regular pulsing type of sounds. Bring down the probability a bit. Now let's see. So every now and then we get like a dropout. I think that's super cool. So all the sounds are coming out of the Syntakt, in case you were wondering. Basically just using the MPC as a sequencer at the moment to showcase the fact that probability and some Ratchet type of stuff is now happening in the sequencer here. Fantastic, and again, welcome addition, something that's been asked for in the MPC world for a while now, to have probability in your sequences, and now we have it. And I'm very excited about using this for future stuff, like hooking it up to some modular gear. You know, just hooking it up to the Syntakt right here is actually really cool. In addition to all this cool stuff, some, you know, meta management type of stuff, and then cool sequencing type of things, there is some additional plugins. There's also a key group explosion type of thing, which is kind of like a shortcut explosion. it explodes it into a keyboard. We'll get to that. There, I want to show the flavor plugin, Air Flavor. And what I'm going to do is route the audio of the Syntakt into the MPC. So we're going to hear the processed Syntakt in the MPC. So let's do that. Okay, so if I hit play, we don't hear anything at the moment. If I go to the sampler, you'll see we have an input right there. If we hit on, so we're clearly hearing the input of the Syntakt into here. So instead of doing it this way, let's actually go to the audio tracks right here, and let's monitor audio track 1, which is the input 1 and 2 here on the MPC. So let's do it like this. Let's put an insert on here. I'm gonna go to the second plugin because sometimes I like to leave room for something in the first plugin, just for inspiration. We're gonna go to, I think it's modulation. Whoops, it's harmonic. Yep, Air Flavor. Air Flavor. So let's go to the presets here. Let's go keys. Old times. Yeah. Let's start throwing some distortion in here. Let's take out the monofy. Keep that stereo information from the reverb in there. And then let's turn it off. So that is super dope. I really like that a lot. Let's actually leave that. What else is there? Is the amp simulator, granulator 2.0, and the tuner. Let's go granulator. So granulator 2.0. Let's reverse it. Great plugin. Great effect. I guess let's throw the amp simulator on there as well. Amp cabinet simulator, amp sim. Presets. Synth. Cooking. Drive. Let's turn on the drive. Four by 10, 4 by 12. Ooh, the 1 by 12 is pretty nice. A little more crispy. Take them all off. Bass is so much louder. Let's go back to Air Flavor. Timbre depth. Low and soft. Well, there's one more thing here that I'm going to show. Actually, there's two more things. Sorry. There's the tuner. There. So you can see the tuner in action. Yeah, it's nice to have that. I'm always in need of a tuner because being a guitarist and all that. So one more feature that I think is really cool that is also kind of a shortcut type of thing. So really cool, but also shortcutty. This one right here. So let's take this, okay? So if we go menu, program edit, right there. Then if we hit this button right here, the keyboard button, it breaks it out into another key group, track. So it's initially when I saw this, I thought it was a little bit more intuitive in the way that it would like all keep it together in one one drum program type of thing. But no, what it's doing is taking that sample and then making it into a brand new track and then splitting it out over the keys. So now and boom. Yeah, it's a convenience thing, right? So instead of having to go through, find that sample, make a new key range group type of thing, and then play it that way, you can just hit a couple buttons on there, and then it automatically explodes it out to a keyboard or a key bed. Cool, yeah? A little more convenience in your MPC experience. Yeah, I think that covers basically the majority of the cool stuff that is coming in 2.11, which I believe is June 23rd. Very exciting. So keep a lookout for when it drops. Obviously, new software has the potential to have glitches, and Akai hasn't been the best about fixing everything that comes out. So it can be a bit of a gamble at times. I'd say if you're doing something that is quote unquote mission critical for a project that's using your MPC, and it would be disastrous if it was suddenly broken or not working the way you want it to, then I would say don't update until you've completed that project. That's how I've treated all of my studio gear. I've never updated computers in the middle of projects I'm being paid for because it is catastrophic to have all that stuff break. And then whose fault is it? It's you, the producer's fault. It's not the client's fault. And they're not going to be like, oh, it's cool, man. We can just shelve it for a month or something like that. No, they're paying you money. They want their stuff to happen regardless of your tech problems. So that's my humble advice out there. Take it for what it is. But yeah, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below for the algorithm gods on YouTube. Definitely more MPC content coming down the pipeline. Also, Memes and I have a lot of additional videos in the works, so stay tuned. And I'll see you next time. Deuces.